Hello out there. Hey, look who showed up for work today. Oh, thought about it. We're on the air. I think something feels off today. Something felt off yesterday too. Says we're live. Should get some confirmation here. Yeah, we're on YouTube. Okay. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Rumble. Hello, Zap Stream. Folks, ladies, gentlemen, dogs, cats. That's it. This is the Daily Bitcoin Journey. This is one of our last episodes of the Daily Bitcoin Journey. Now, we got some time left. We got some time yet. But at some point, I'm going to say this is the final show, and I don't know when it's going to be quite yet. But it will be. But we're not going to be done there. That's just kind of the beginning of it. That's when the fun starts. That's when the fun begins, you might say. All right, well, I want to give a big special shout out to start the day here to Rumble, everybody watching on Rumble this morning. Thanks for being here. And Morrow with the $1 rant said, good morning, everyone. That's the way to enter a chat room. Thank you, Morrow. Appreciate that a lot, my friend. So this is the Daily Bitcoin Journey. This show focuses on actionable and logical discussion for Bitcoiners and for future Bitcoiners. And we might be lucky enough to have our co-host Arnie show up for a bit today. The theme of this show, we try to talk about at least one of these things or all three of them every show, which is be the guy, protect the sats, and enjoy the ride. Most important part here. And this one's called This Bitcoin Cycle is Objectively Different. And so I learned something yesterday that was kind of news to me. I think I heard it once or twice before, but I never really comprehended the grand scheme of things. And so I want to talk through that a little bit today, along with some other things like usual. And we're going to have a good show today. It's Tuesdays. Tuesdays are usually the best shows. Even though we got Wednesdays, Hump Day, Fat Zap Friday, Tuesdays are the underrated day of the week, though. Mondays I'm always scraping for information and news every Monday morning. But I mean, it makes sense, right? There's not a whole lot of breaking news coming out on a Monday morning, but usually there's a lot later in the day on Monday that we talk about on Tuesday. So Tuesday is a very sneaky, underrated day of the week here on the Daily Bitcoin Journey. So let's get to a couple things here. We'll start with the mempool. We haven't checked in on the mempool for a while. See what's going on there. But some comments first. Killer took my comments seriously yesterday. It looks like first one here today. Samantha Nakamoto also here early, 1 minute late behind Killer, but here nonetheless. I think Samantha was MIA yesterday, so it's good to see you, Samantha. Buck 52. Good morning. Good morning, Rumble. Ginger's here. Kev's here. Ginger's here on YouTube. We got Joe from California is here. Saying, yes, you're live. Okay. Thank you, my friend. Old School says, good afternoon. It is morning here. It is quite early in the morning. Not quite, just kind of. Arnie's whiny today. I don't know what's going on. Have a seat, buddy. Oh, it's coming right in. Look at this. You want to hang out for a bit? We're working. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? You can stick around. Want to? All right. Well, the bed's yours if you want it. Or you can come in here. You can stick right there if you want to. Front row seat. Hey, you can't do that. No, never. Oh, God. Here we go. Okay, well, we're going to just pretend Arnie's not whining here. Hopefully he has a seat. I spilled some coffee in his bed this morning. He's probably not happy about that. Smelling it. No, doesn't want it. Tripped a little bit and spilled some coffee in his bed today on the way here. Adam Back. Abedi says, Adam Back says Bitcoin can reach 500K to 1 million this cycle. What do you think? Absolutely. Absolutely. And fiat, of course, there's no limit on how this thing can go. And that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. This bull run hasn't even started yet. When we're talking real currency, this bull run has not even started yet. We're not even at an all-time high yet. We haven't hit an all-time high yet in real terms. Praetorian, it would not surprise me one bit if we got to $1 million, not even this cycle, this year. I know that's in 4 months and that sounds insane, but it could happen. Absolutely could happen. And that's, again, I think $1 million is when retail starts paying attention. So I think that's coming sooner than most people think. Praetorian's here. Good morning, Praetorian. Don Troll. Holla. Holla. Jay says bright orange. Okay, we might need to get rid of Arnie right away if he keeps whining. Might need to throw him out. The cycle tops, in my opinion, will be between 143 and 173. Okay, interesting. Envarini, good morning. Sandman says, hi, everybody, good stacking. Sandman, good name. Okay, just hold on a sec. I gotta get Arnie out of here. Just a sec. All right, we're back. We're back. We got rid of the whiny dog this morning. We got whiny dog syndrome. Anyways, here we are with the mempool. We are currently sitting at block height 910751. 910,751 blocks have been mined since January 3rd, 2009, the Genesis block of Bitcoin. You want to see the Genesis block? Let's take a look. There it is right there. Shining, glowing. January the 3rd, 2009. And then 6 days later, the second block number 1, came out. And ever since then, there's been 910,751 Bitcoin blocks mined. Pretty impressive. The fees right now, pretty average, pretty standard is what they've been for the last little while here. Lots of transactions in the mempool right now. Keep in mind, every time you send a Bitcoin transaction on layer 1, it goes to the mempool. And it sits in the mempool until a miner decides to put it into a block. Holy, look at Foundry's just been absolutely picking up blocks. They hit 8 in a row the other day. So these blocks come in on average every 10 minutes, but you can see here that it is not exactly every 10 minutes. We had 2 blocks 1 minute apart, and then we didn't have another block for 29 minutes. But that's how it works. And if we get too far ahead or behind, the difficulty adjustment kicks in and makes it a little bit harder or a little bit easier for the miners. And if we look at the average time for the last 16 years, we can see that it is 9 minutes and 36 seconds. Average block time since the Genesis block. Target's 10 minutes though. So every time it gets a little bit fast, blocks are coming in too quickly, the difficulty adjustment goes up. Makes it harder for the miners. Slow things down a bit. And when they're coming in too slow, the difficulty adjustment goes down. Makes it a little bit easier for the miners and the blocks coming in a little bit quicker. So that's the self-regulation of the Bitcoin network called the difficulty adjustment. And you can see here we're in Epoch 5. The current block subsidy is 3.125 per block. And the total supply since January 3rd, 2009 has been 19.9 million coins all the way around the sun. And first 16 years, and then the next 140, we got that little space right there. Pretty wild to look at this kind of stuff every day. The price 115,344 USD to BTC, which is a completely illusionary metric. Why, you say? Well, because we don't know how many dollars are out there. We have no idea. How do you measure something against the denominator that we don't know how much exists? No idea. The measurement stick called the US dollar is broken, shattered, never to be repaired. Does the doggy also stack sats? Yes, this is actually his wallet right here. So the supporters of the show here on the Daily Bitcoin Journey, 88 Sats radio channel, that's where they send some sats when they want to. This is Arnie's wallet right here. He is stacking sats every day. And big shout out to Bill yesterday, who sent some sats to Arnie's wallet after the show, 5251. Bill, one of the biggest supporters of the show, quietly though, doesn't ask for any props or any thank yous or anything. And the cool thing is every time he sends one of those zaps, it's usually him showing one of his clients about Bitcoin. Says here, look, I'm going to scan this QR code on screen. I'm going to send this guy 5251. And I'm guessing there's a lot of people impressed with that. That's kind of the cool thing with the Bitcoin network. Nobody really cares too much about permissionless, about all that kind of stuff. But when you show them that you can send somebody from a QR code or a lightning address and it shows up instantly, that's a pretty big unlock for people. And the cool thing is that it's not only that fast, but it's instant settlement. So when people really grasp that, that's kind of the game changer, I think. I got an itchy nose this morning. My goodness. Might have to blow it right away. Anything goes, but no crying. Exactly. You can do whatever the hell you want back there, Arnie. Just don't whine. It drives me bananas. Hate that noise. Capaholics, top of the morning. Praetorian says, Jor, may I ask what your macro aspects are for the 1 million price? I'm not in doubt, just like outlooks. Yep, absolutely. Hold on. I got to get rid of my itchy nose. All right, we're back. So we're going to pretty much spend the show talking about this today. So I don't want to get into this yet, but that's the road we're on right now. Buck52 says, what's your take on BlackRock's Larry Fink hoping the WEF? Also, any thoughts on the possibility of BlackRock trying to fork Bitcoin? Oh, man. People will do anything to get some views on the internet these days. Anything. And I've been seeing a lot of FUD thrown around. And I mean, it's no surprise. That's really how they've managed to keep the general public eyes off of Bitcoin. That's how they've managed to keep it at this price, in my opinion, is just by throwing out bullshit. I don't know who's working for who or who's getting paid by who, but yeah, there's a lot of shit going on for sure. And I mean, Larry Fink joining the WEF, kind of a weird thing, not surprising at all, though. I mean, they've been pretty closely tied with the World Economic Forum for a long time. So that was pretty unsurprising to me. But yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of those videos. There's a lot of people who just love jumping on the headlines and spinning into something that is not. I would say that I'm 0% concerned about BlackRock forking Bitcoin. 0% concerned about that. Maybe 1%. I'll be a little bit conservative. 1% maybe. And the 1% would only come because I have to admit all the time that, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe there's something that I'm unaware of in terms of the Bitcoin network, how it works, the incentives. And so the only 1% there is that I just maybe am missing something, which is possible. absolutely possible. Like I don't pretend to be the smartest guy. I don't pretend to be on the right side of the bell curve. I'm on the left side. Logically, everything makes sense from what I see of it. I don't think it's possible for anybody, including BlackRock, to fork Bitcoin. They might try to. I don't see why they would try to. I don't see the incentives for trying to. I think that they're going to do it in a much sneakier way. I think here's my thoughts on it. I think that if BlackRock tried to fork Bitcoin, it would be a massive failure, especially with the amount that they have. Like I know that they have 1 or 2% of Bitcoin right now, or their clients own 1 or 2% of Bitcoin. If they had 30%, we'd be talking a different story right now. And for 50 years out, that might be the case. But I think if BlackRock tried to fork Bitcoin anytime soon, it would be a massive failure. Massive. Because nobody would use it. Nobody would use it. It would be too obvious. And that's why I don't think that they would try something like that, because A, it doesn't really align incentives, but B, I don't think that they're that stupid. I think that if they actually want to capture Bitcoin, and you have to even think about, what does capturing Bitcoin mean? Because they're holding a shitload of Bitcoin on behalf of their clients. And if Bitcoin became captured, or the general public believe that Bitcoin is captured, that would be horrible for them. Horrible. They've been spending a lot of time and energy in marketing and education, training their advisors and their clients on what Bitcoin is. So the incentives don't really align in that sense. And why would they want to make it useless? It just doesn't make any sense. I could see them wanting to capture it so that every time you move Bitcoin, they know about it, and destroying things like the privacy and open source, things like that. I think that if BlackRock was going to capture Bitcoin, in the sense of, like, unless you're using BlackRock approved Bitcoin, then you can't use it in society. That might happen. But it's not going to be because they fork Bitcoin. They're going to do something else, a roundabout way of doing that. And I don't know what that looks like. So am I concerned? Not in the short term. It really depends. Like it's really going to depend on how, because right now individuals hold about 69% of Bitcoin, which has gone down from like 71 to 70 to 69, and it'll probably keep going down. So it really depends on how willing people are to sell their Bitcoin to exchanges and BlackRock. And that's why I talk about it all the time, is like, if you need to sell your Bitcoin or spend your Bitcoin, do not sell it back to the exchanges. Because what these companies like BlackRock and countries and other entities, other centralized entities around the world, Wall Street, people on Wall Street, what they're figuring out is that they can't print more Bitcoin, right? So they're going to have to find a way to incentivize people like me, like you, to sell their Bitcoin. And even though it doesn't seem like much today, play this out like a couple decades, and the amount that we're holding right now is going to be substantial. And so all that they're going to be able to do is try to incentivize people to sell that Bitcoin. That's their only play. They can't print more. They can't stop it. They can't fork it. So they're going to just try to incentivize everybody to sell their Bitcoin. And how are they going to do that? Not that hard to figure out. Like, just think about this stuff logically. I know there's a bunch of noise. I know there's a bunch of dipshits looking for views and for clicks and for, it's out there. It's always going to be out there, but you cannot pay attention to that shit. Use your own brain. Think logically. Logically, it does not make sense for BlackRock to try to fork Bitcoin. And even if they did, it would fail. So that's my thoughts on it. So anyways, going back to this question, these two are pretty aligned, because, again, how do you think that they're going to incentivize people to sell their Bitcoin? What's easier? What's the easiest route? Coming to take your Bitcoin, forking Bitcoin, getting enough Bitcoin to take over the network, or running the price up so high that people just say, you know what? I'm going to sell it because I can do whatever I want to. I can pay off my mortgage. I can take the family on a trip every 6 months for the rest of our lives. Who cares? I'm just going to sell my Bitcoin. And you really can't blame people. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. People have very short-term vision. So I think that that's more of a concern is them running up the price, people selling, Bitcoiners selling, and they just collect all the Bitcoin amongst BlackRock, strategy, governments, and then they can do whatever they want with it. I don't think it'll be as valuable at that point, but it could be. That's the thing. A lot of uncertainty right now in the next little while here. Scotty says, hello, we need to get more variety in the pools, I think. Yeah, I agree. But it's definitely not something that we can just decide ourselves and something that happens overnight. You know what I mean? Let me let Noster know we're live 20 minutes into this show today. Hey, we got a zap 369 from Matt, FRL, the 369th show today, the Tesla show. And I wanted to talk about Tesla today, but I completely forgot it was episode 369 until I was making the thumbnail this morning. So that didn't happen. But we might spend a little bit of time. We'll see what direction we go in today. We might spend a little bit of time talking about Tesla and his impact on Bitcoin. We'll see. Hey, look at this. First time ever. We got Samantha Nakamoto over in the Noster chat. Bitcoin nurse is over there. Samantha says, yeah, thanks. Wasn't feeling well for a few days. No problem. No problem. Bitcoin nurse says there's been a lot of talk about Larry Fink, or as we call him around here, Fairy Link. Fairy Link and BlackRock trying to artificially crash the price of Bitcoin to wipe out Saylor. What's your thoughts? I mean, yeah, it's not going to happen though, because what would the price of Bitcoin have to fall to wipe out Saylor? Like 15K? BlackRock does not have the power to drop the price of Bitcoin to 15K. It's just noise. It's just noise. And it's just crazy that people fall for this stuff. And I mean, I don't expect the $1.52 is worried about it or the Bitcoin nurse is worried about it. It's just kind of like the thing to talk about right now. But it just doesn't make any fucking sense. It's stupid. It's what it is. It's stupid. It's a distraction. And they've been distracting people for 16 years successfully. So why stop now? Right? The reason why the average person does not own Bitcoin right now is because they've been fed so much bullshit and lies about Bitcoin. That's why. They've been lied to since the day that they were born. Not about Bitcoin, but just money. Anybody who's around today, anybody who's alive right now has been lied to their entire life, which is crazy. Lied to, kept in the dark, intentionally misled, and just fed bullshit right down their throats since the day they came out of the womb. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Bad Gal B. Good morning, all. Good morning, Bad Gal B. Nice to see you. We don't even know how much gold there is, not just dollars. That's true, but I think we have a better idea of how much gold there is. But at the same time, do we? How much is underground? We've seen like 3 instances in the last year where people just found like $1 trillion worth of gold underground that they dug up. So I agree. But I do think that gold's still a better metric than fiat. Oh, held back a sneeze there. Orville says, good morning, Jor and everyone. Good morning. We had Arnie here. Don't anybody say good morning to Arnie. We're mad at Arnie right now. We're off Arnie. We're off him. He showed up for work, but he was whining the whole time. Todd says, Rumble won't let me comment today. What the heck's with that? What the hell's with that, Rumble? We got Cleaner Machine here. Ian is in the chat. Good morning, Ian. Vote with your savings. Absolutely. Matt says, good morning. Good morning, team. Happy 369. Yes, thank you, Matt, and thank you for the zap, my friend. Thank you, thank you. Old School says BlackRock has thousands of Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, they own Bitcoin and their clients own Bitcoin. I think between them, it's in the hundreds of thousands, if not close to 1 million. How much does BlackRock have right now? Bitcoin Treasury. Do you guys know that there's a new site called bitcointreasuries.co that just popped up? It kind of looks like Strategy's website. I don't think it's Strategy. So what does BlackRock hold personally here? BlackRock owns, hey, look at that Bitcoin wall right at the bottom there with 10 Bitcoin. Love that. Where's BlackRock here? BlackRock, where are you? Not on here? I thought BlackRock owned some Bitcoin themselves. I don't know. Let's ask Perplexity. How much Bitcoin does BlackRock hold? You know what? Fuck it. Fuck BlackRock. I'm not giving them any of my attention. I don't care how much Bitcoin they have. Don't care. Strange where BlackRock is moving to Texas. Rumor in 2023 was they were teaming up with Robinhood to start a new stock market. Well, there's been a lot of information about that from Robinhood themselves, about digitizing stocks. Been a couple announcements in the last 6 months from Robinhood. Sats and Sunset says maybe they will dump their strategy, drop the price, and force seller to sell, which will drop the price so they can buy more for cheap. I mean, that would be a pretty. I mean, I can't say it won't happen. I can't. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Doubt it. Yeah, I agree. I doubt it. Praetorian stock market. Not sure what that means. What did I miss there? Something. Eros says all the new people to the market have to experience their shitcoin phase before coming to the truth. 100%. 100%. The crazy thing is there's a lot of people out there who spend like hours and hours and hours a day studying Bitcoin, listening to different things about Bitcoin. They still get concerned about BlackRock. It's just a lot of distraction. Again, that's the only thing. I'm going to keep saying this, but it's the only thing. The only weapon that they have right now is bullshit. Just throwing bullshit into the wind, seeing who picks it up, who runs with it, who makes a video about it, whether or not that video goes viral. It's a whole strategy. Miss V Fudd. Morning, Jor. Miss V Fudd. I haven't seen Miss V Fudd for years, decades. Miss V Fudd used to be one of our 3 listeners every morning to the Daily Bitcoin Journey. Good to see you. Jimmy says the BlackRock against Saylor is a dumb take, and State Street and Vanguard are major shareholders in strategy. Yeah, there's a couple. There's a couple big shareholders in strategy, but I agree, Jimmy. 500 sats for answering my question. Thank you, Buck52. Should make sure I'm not missing anything here. 369 came through. Hopefully Arnie doesn't have any zaps today. We're mad at Arnie. We are mad at Arnie right now. Why is everything going against zero? Why is everything going to zero against Bitcoin? Because everything else can be created. Everything else can be created. That's why. Oh, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day. I forget what it was about now, though. But yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, there's the only thing that I would say is close to Bitcoin in the sense of The slowest thing to go to zero against Bitcoin will be land. Not like just land, but like desirable land. I would say that desirable land is going to be the slowest thing to go to zero against Bitcoin, because anything else, if there's enough demand for it, you can create more supply. And that's how prices work. That's how the market works. If there's a bunch of demand for something and you have the ability to create more of it to meet that demand, then the price will eventually stabilize. That's very simple economics. I minored in economics. That's pretty much the only thing I took away from it. Everything else was just complete BS. But it makes sense, right? The more demand there is, the higher the price goes up. But if you can meet that demand with supply, if you can create enough things to meet that demand, then the price stabilizes. Bitcoin is the only asset, irregardless of demand, that you can't create more supply. And it solves a pretty big problem in the world, because you have 8 billion people on this planet, apparently, anyways. 8 billion people on this planet, and everybody's looking for a better way to store their value. It doesn't matter what country they're in. Whatever their country they're in, they're using fiat to store their value. They get paid in fiat, and that's how they have to store their value. So the problem that Bitcoin solves is a problem that affects 8 billion people. And so eventually, more and more people, of that 8 billion, there's going to be more and more people who are wanting to use Bitcoin to store their value. And there's only so much of it. So even if we go from 1 billion to 2 billion to 3 billion to 4 billion, all the way up to 8 billion, and every single person on this planet is wanting to store their time and energy in Bitcoin, we cannot create more of it. So that Bitcoin either has to come from somebody else, or you have to find one of the 5% of the future supply that will be released over the next 100 years. So everything else, think of anything else and tell me, if the demand is high enough, can they create more? And if the answer is yes, then it's going to go to zero against Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's going to reprice everything on this planet. Everything. This hat is going to be repriced in Bitcoin. This phone is going to be repriced in Bitcoin. You know why? Because even if this was a super phone and everybody wanted this phone, well, could we make more of them? Yes. It might take a little longer depending on what you're doing. Like maybe it's a phone that uses a bunch of silver because it's, some sort of aspect of silver makes it faster and whatever, who knows? So in that sense, we'd have to get more silver, which might take some time, but eventually we could catch up to demand. Eventually, with Bitcoin, you can never catch up. So over a long enough time frame, everything is going to go to zero against Bitcoin, because it is the only thing that you cannot make more of, regardless of how many people want to use it. Jimmy says, also, I don't agree with framing Saylor as the goes guy. The goes guy? Good guy? He repeatedly states fiat should stay. Yeah, I mean, there's no heroes in Bitcoin. I think that's important to understand. There's no heroes. Everybody has their own agenda. Sailor's trying to be the king of the world. Okay, so I got a couple 369 zaps, actually. So it looks like one came probably from Sats and Sunsets, I'm guessing. But big shout out to Ian. Ian sent in a zap last night, actually, 2,500 sats. And also sent one in this morning for the show, 2,500 sats. So thank you, Ian. Very much appreciate that. And we got the Bitcoin nurse shared a picture over on the Noster chat. What's this? What do we got here? Just in, ARC 21 shares sells 600 Bitcoin worth 64 million. Dummies. Is that legit? I don't know. Kathy Wood. If that's true, I'm ripping up my Kathy Wood shirt. This is what the Bitcoin nurse shared over on Noster. ARC 21 sells 600 Bitcoin worth 64 million. I don't know. Might be true, might not be. Cannot verify. But if it's legit, Kathy would. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm out to lunch. I could be. I don't claim to know everything. We get a zap from Samantha Nakamoto here. 1,111 sats. Not my first time here. Was here days ago and before that. Okay. My bad. My bad, Samantha. I didn't know that Samantha was even on Noster. I wonder if I'm following Samantha. Although you don't need a Noster profile to use Zapstream. Jake says there's no way you can stay mad at Arnie for more than 25 seconds. Yeah, and he knows that too. He knows that. Fairy Link wasn't named the head of the WEF for nothing. We'll see. Marco says, good morning, George. Thanks to Maple Bitcoin, I consider myself a hodler. And I think for decades now. Love that. Thank you. Parker's here. Good morning, Parker. Eros says, how long until Google, Amazon, and Facebook fold and start accumulating Bitcoin? I'm thinking by the end of the year. I doubt it's going to happen that fast. I doubt it'll happen that fast. You have to understand how slowly things move. Things move slowly. And that's like the benefit that we have, the main advantage that we have right now, and we've had for 16 years, is we don't need to go through a board of directors to buy Bitcoin. We don't need to ask anybody's permission to buy Bitcoin. We can take whatever fiat we have, whatever other savings we have, whatever real estate we have, whatever stocks we have, and we can convert that into Bitcoin today. That's the advantage that we have. We are able to move very quickly. We can see what's coming here ahead of us, very clear what's happening in front of us, and we can act. We don't need anybody's permission. We don't need to have a vote. We don't need to have a meeting. We don't need to do anything. We can just take what we have and buy Bitcoin. And we've been front running Wall Street and Larry Fink and Michael Saylor and Donald Trump and Eric Trump for years now. And when all these people show up, when Google shows up, Amazon, Facebook, when they all start buying Bitcoin, it's over. The opportunity is over. When that happens, you're going to look at your balance in your wallet, and it's not going to go up much from there. That's pretty much, you're going to peak. It'll probably just go down and down and down from there. Because A, you're going to want to spend some of it or loan against it or whatever that is. But B, whatever fiat dollars that you have, it's not going to get you shit. Today, you can buy 800 sats for $1. At that point, you might be able to buy 1 sat for $1. Like, you really have to understand what's going to happen here. You have to understand what's going to happen here. Because I think for the next year, the next 6 to 18 months, somewhere in there, we're going to probably hit $1 million Bitcoin. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Obviously, there's a lot of demand coming into Bitcoin right now. There's a lot of very deep pockets coming into Bitcoin. There's only so much Bitcoin available, but they're also printing a shitload of money. And that's pretty much why we've hit an all-time high so far in 2025 is artificially. The only reason why we hit an all-time high in fiat is because they printed so much money. So at some point, we're going to hit $1 million here over the next 6 to 18 months. And you can clip this. You can call me a dipshit if I'm wrong about that. I don't care. That's just, it's very clear to me what's going to happen here. And when we hit 1 million, that's when 1 sat is equal to 1 cent. And that's when Bitcoin becomes a penny stock. That's when people no longer see Bitcoin as 100,000 or 200,000 or 300,000. That's when they see 1 sat to be 1 cent. And then when 1 sat becomes worth 2 cents, and then 3 cents, and then 5 cents for 1 sat, behind the scenes there, Bitcoin moved from 1 million to 2 million to 3 million to 5 million. And that's all going to happen pretty quick. Because again, this Bitcoin thing solves a problem for 8 billion people. It's a pretty big idea. And if you think about it that way, I was kind of thinking about this in a way to word this, and I don't know if it's proper, but I'm going to share it anyways. But like, if you think about Bitcoin like that, If you consider the fact that 8 billion people right now, for the most part, are storing their time and energy in a currency that somebody else can create out of thin air, Bitcoin solves that problem. Bitcoin fixes that problem for 8 billion people. And so imagine if you had a product or a service that solved a problem for 8 billion people. And you could own shares in that company that was making that product or service that solved that problem for 8 billion people. You could buy equity in that company. And whether that's 1% or 0.01% or 0.001%, you would probably want to buy equity in that company. If they had a problem or a product or service that solved a problem that 8 billion people have, which we do, that's the problem. That's the whole problem here, is that those 8 billion people are currently storing their time and energy. When they go to work and they have a little bit left over at the end of the month, they store that in their fiat currency. And that fiat currency is getting debased every single hour. As they print more money, as they add more to their debt, that makes the energy that you're storing there worth less. Your value becomes worth less, which is a problem. No person on this planet is immune from that. So Bitcoin solves the problem for 8 billion people. And again, would you want to invest in a company that solved the problem for 8 billion people? And by holding sats in any amount, you own equity in that company. That's how I kind of see it. But it's even better than a company because that company doesn't have a CEO. There's nothing that can go wrong with that company. There's no sex scandals or videos at a Coldplay concert that can affect it, or any hurricane or bombs going off, anything. You can't destroy the infrastructure. You cannot destroy this company. Would you want to own a piece of that? That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. And you're going to be able to do so many things with that share in equity. Let's share in equity. You're going to be able to do so much in that. And the cool thing is that it's going to grow over time. Over the long term, that is only going to go up. It's going to only buy you more. I shouldn't say it's going to go up because then we're still measuring things in fiat. It's not going to go up. It's just going to be able to buy you more and more things and give you more options in life and give you more leverage in life and better collateral. And you're going to be able to take that collateral down to the bank and say, hey, whatever currency we're using right now, whatever you can issue me, I want to go spend some. So give me a loan. Here's my Bitcoin. Here's 1,000th of my Bitcoin. I'm going to keep the rest for me. I'm going to hold the keys to this myself, but I want some money from you. And the banks will be like, yep, no problem. Because it's way better collateral than anything else that exists. It's the biggest. It's hard to really comprehend how big of an idea this is when it literally solves the problem for 8 billion people. It's crazy. Ian says, you're very welcome. Did you see I won the 25,000 sats on the wheel last night? That was awesome. I did. I also saw you sent it to your grandson, which was even cooler to see. So yeah, Jerry loves Freedom Stream every night. Sometimes you get some big spins in there. I think there was a 50,000 sat one and then a 25,000 sat one. And both of those donations were from Paul, the man Paul, the infamous, the GOAT Paul. But Ian was a beneficiary of that last night, and he sent it to his grandson. So yes, big shout out to Ian for that. Scotty says DCA went through. All right, let's check it out. Let's verify. We trust Scotty, but we still got to verify. All right, what do we got going on in Rumble today? We got 30 people in there right now, 17 likes. All right, that's all right. That's all right. We got more people in YouTube today, which is kind of shitty, but you know, it is what it is. We're doing our best. Scotty sent 2615 today. That's the DCA, 2615. And I don't know if that's up or down from yesterday. Said Kofifi. I think it's Cove. I think it's Cove Fifi. No. How do you spell it? How do you spell Kofifi? Kofifi? I think it's like that. I don't think it's Kof. No, I think that's it. Okay. So thank you, Scotty, for that. The DCA from Scotty today. We've had Duncan only on the DCA lately. So thank you, Scotty. All right, what do we got here? Colin Talks Crypto YouTube channel uses several indicators on his channel and says the price will probably peak around 200K this cycle. Won't go more than that. So far, he's been correct. Good for Colin. If Colin thinks that we're going to peak at 200K this cycle, he doesn't know what he's talking about. First of all, his name is Colin Talks Crypto, so that was an immediate sign that he does not understand what's happening in Bitcoin. 200K, I mean, maybe he might be right, but it won't be because he's checking out his indicators and his charts and shit like that. I do know that. Colin Talks Crypto. Colin Talks bullshit. Cleaner Machine says, thank you for all your teachings. We really appreciate you, Jor. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, my friend. I think Google just bought a stake in a Bitcoin mining company. Of course, they all have stakes in Bitcoin mining companies and strategy and stuff, but they don't let you buy Bitcoin. They try to keep their secrets to themselves. It's a whole game that's going on right now, and it's going to continue because there's still people dumb enough to believe the mainstream media out there. Julio's selling a kidney to buy a Bitcoin. Nice. To buy a Bitcoin. Wow. Scotty's right. The printing hasn't even started yet. Couldn't agree more, Scotty. VHF is here. VHF is here. Good morning, VHFs. VHF. Marco says, I don't doubt that Bitcoin will hit a million 2030 plus, but I think retail just doesn't get it all the time. Adoption is more slow than we think. What's your take on this? I mean, retail doesn't move the market anymore. That's what people miss. Retail is very irrelevant. Retail doesn't move the market ever since January 2024. That's what people are missing right now. Like since January 2024. Do you guys want to see something? Let's bring this up right now. I got to find it though. I got to find it. I don't know how I'm going to find it. So think about this. Think about this to yourselves while we're talking through this right now. Think about how much demand there's been since January 2024, ever since the Bitcoin ETFs, the most successful Bitcoin or the most successful ETFs in history. Think about how much demand there's been for people wanting to buy Bitcoin. So start with that in your head. Think about how much demand there's been, even in the last year. It seems like every day there's a new public company buying Bitcoin and adding it to their treasury. Okay, hold on here. Price in grams of gold, Bitcoin price. Okay, so let me bring up this chart. This is what I want to show you today. This is why I think that my guess here, and you can clip this. Nobody will, because nobody really watches the channel here, or no, I shouldn't say nobody, but compared to the big boys out there, the well high produced, high ads, shows like that, nobody cares. But my prediction is definitely Bitcoin will hit $1 million in the next I'm going to say 4 to 12 months. 4 to 12 months. I think we're going to hit a $1 million Bitcoin in fiat, which isn't even that big a deal because they're just printing so much money right now. And that's what's caused the all-time high in Bitcoin. It hasn't been driven by all this demand. For somehow, some way, all the demand that's coming into Bitcoin the last year and a half, it hasn't even exceeded 2021 when only retail were here. Let me say that again. After all the demand that's come into Bitcoin in the last year and a half, we still have not actually gone up in real terms since 2021. And if you look at this chart here, this is Bitcoin priced in gold. Bitcoin priced in gold. So you can see here the all-time high was actually 30, I think it was about 39 ounces of gold. This says 36, 37. And back here we hit 37, 39. So in real terms, where are we right now? 35. So we're at the same levels in real terms as we were in 2021. That makes no fucking sense. So what does that tell you? It tells you that the only reason why Bitcoin has gone up is artificially. The only reason why Bitcoin has gone up is because they printed more money. It's the only reason. And the crazy thing about Bitcoin is that, again, it's the only asset that, regardless of how much demand there is for it, you cannot increase the supply to match that demand. And so to me, that suggests that this bull run here that everybody's been talking about, because we're up 100% in the last year. We're up 100% in the last year, and that is all artificial. That is all from the money printing. Because, perfect example here, even if it is 1 or 2 ounces different, I saw that the all-time high priced in gold was actually 2021. That was from a different site. This is all within like a couple different ounces. This is saying that the price today is 30, 36, 35, which is the same as it was in 2021. 35, 36 in gold. So again, all this demand that's coming to Bitcoin, Wall Street, strategy, Michael Saylor, favorable regulation, a favorable administration in the most influential country on the planet. All of these things happening. Public companies adding Bitcoin to their treasury every single day, new public companies. States adding Bitcoin treasury, Bitcoin reserve. Texas, somebody else, 2 other states. And nothing's changed. We're at the same point as we were in 2021. That does not make any fucking sense. So something's happening here. Whatever that is, there's something happening here, and you cannot disagree with me there, because there's way more demand today than there was in 2021, and the price in real terms has not changed. So to me, that suggests that there's some manipulation happening. And of course, when Wall Street enters the game, they have a funny way of manipulating things to meet their needs. But again, if we circle this back and we say, okay, these companies, these entities have been stockpiling Bitcoin. They've been buying since 2021. They bought a shitload of Bitcoin. How much? Millions. Millions of Bitcoin has been purchased since this price here in 2021. So at some point, they're going to say, okay, well, we got enough. We're going to run this thing up. We're going to run this thing up because we want our clients to be happy. We want our clients to believe in where we're going here. We spent the last year and a half educating our clients, promoting Bitcoin, the most successful ETF launch in history. Now we want to show them that we were right. So they're going to run it up. And what's going to happen there? They're not going to sell any. They might sell some. Some clients might say, hey, I doubled my profit. I'm going to cash out, because they don't understand Bitcoin. But the other thing that they're doing there is they're actually trying to incentivize people like you and me and retail, as Marco's talking about here, to actually selling their coins, because that's the only way that they can actually obtain more Bitcoin. And again, unfortunately, the shitty thing is I think that there's a lot of paper Bitcoin out there right now where companies either claim to have Bitcoin or they think they have Bitcoin. And there's a lot more deposits in fiat at a company like, you know which one I'm talking about, versus the actual amount of Bitcoin that they have. So that's how a company like that creates paper Bitcoin, is they'll take your money. You could send that company $10,000 today. They'll take it gladly. You're literally sending a company money. They'll take that. That doesn't mean that they actually have the Bitcoin to back that. It's very similar to like a bank. It's fractional reserve. They aren't required to actually hold that Bitcoin, or they aren't required to say that they have that Bitcoin and actually own that Bitcoin. So again, this exchange that I'm talking about, they could literally take in $1 billion. People could send them $1 billion worth of dollars. That doesn't actually mean that they have the Bitcoin there. And that's why they have withdrawal limits. And when that happens, people think all that demand, they're sending these exchanges money. So that's driving up the demand. No, it's not. It's just giving them more money to play with. That doesn't actually mean that they're buying Bitcoin, unless you're using a company like River, who actually shows their proof of reserves, where if you sent them $20,000 of dollars, fiat, they have that $20,000 worth of Bitcoin backing it. And that's what I'm telling you. If you're watching the show right now, either live or recorded, and you're still using a company like Coinbase, you should stop instantly. And because you're assisting in this, you're allowing them to manipulate the price of Bitcoin. This is not right. Nothing about this chart makes any fucking sense at all. Nothing. How does BlackRock show up here? And we're at the same level as we were 2 years before that. That makes no sense. Wall Street. Sailor's bought 600,000 coins since this, pretty much. How has the price in real terms not moved? Something's going on there. So that's what I would say. If you are using Coinbase, just stop. Just stop, because you're helping it. You're part of the problem. Use a company like River. Because the only way that this ends, the only way that paper Bitcoin ends, is by people either using an exchange like River or actually taking custody of their coins. And Bitcoin Well also, if you're in Canada, Bitcoin Well doesn't hold any Bitcoin, which means they have zero ability to manipulate the price. You have to understand what's happening here with these large exchanges. They're happy to take money. Why wouldn't they? But again, it's the same kind of thing. That's why they have withdrawal limits. They claim that it's for security purposes, but it's not. It's because if everybody went to that exchange and tried to take out their Bitcoin, they wouldn't have the fucking Bitcoin to give you. Just like a bank. Everybody went to the bank the same time, same day, asked for their balance in their account. They wouldn't have a 1/100th of it. And so that's how they're able to take in all this money. People think that they're buying Bitcoin, but nobody actually has that Bitcoin. They're just literally taking money from people. It's sick. It's sick. But again, I mean, eventually things will get figured out here. It's going to be a huge swing to the upside. And so when you think about this, if you're somebody out there, and I know that there's at least one person in the audience today who's holding some fiat right now and waiting for Bitcoin to crash. Number one, the bull run hasn't even started. You can see very clearly that in real terms here, the bull run hasn't even started. We're pretty much exactly where we were in 2021 before everybody showed up. And the only thing that you're doing by holding fiat instead of Bitcoin is you're losing. That fiat is losing value by the second. So at least if you're going to wait for a Bitcoin crash, at least hold that in gold. At least. Because even if the price of Bitcoin goes up and up and up, all that you're doing there with fiat on the sidelines is losing. Even if it comes down at some point, you've still missed. So that fiat that you've held for the last 6 months or a year has lost so much value that you're not going to make that up in Bitcoin terms. You're just not. Think about it. I want people to think about this. Think hard on what's happening here and where we are in the cycle. And what this shows is that Bitcoin hasn't really moved since 2021 in real terms. The only thing that's happened is that the fiat price, or that they printed more money. And at some point, all this new demand is going to catch up. At some point, it has to. And, I just can't see them being able to keep the price down for this long. So what I'm saying here is I'm not telling you to go, what I would say is take whatever you have right now and buy Bitcoin, because whatever happens next is going to be massive. Because eventually the demand aspect of this is going to catch up. So far, this whole thing has been artificially propped up. But eventually the supply is going to run out. The demand is going to exceed the supply and it's going to shoot up. And if you're sitting there holding fiat, even if it comes back down, you've lost. So at least if you're going to wait, if you're going to try to time this crash, hold in gold, at least. And when you think about what a crash is, what causes a crash? People selling. What would have to happen for people to sell their Bitcoin? Has to go way up. Way up. And again, remember the incentives here. BlackRock is incentivized to run this thing up. They want to, because their clients are going to be happy. They're going to increase their assets under management fees, and they're going to take Bitcoin from people like me and you. The incentives is to run this thing up. So even if it runs up and it crashes 80%, it's still going to be way ahead of where we are today, fiat terms. Gold terms, it'll probably go up, but fiat terms is going to be way up from here. So if you're holding fiat right now, you're going to get way, 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 way behind. It's important to understand that. And I think most people here are probably holding a large amount of Bitcoin. Percentage-wise, they're probably not holding a lot of fiat, but I know that there are some people who are. So you can take my opinion or not on what I think it's going to do, but you cannot argue the fact that this bull run has not started in real terms. And we have a very long ways to go up before we start coming down. And whatever we fall down to, whatever we crash down to, is going to be much, much higher than it is today. So what sense does it make to hold fiat right now? It makes no sense. It makes zero sense. Eros says, good analysis. I agree. It's probably going to be $2 for one sat when the Mag 7 moves in. I think the floodgates release when BTC surprises gold market cap. Too risky, too volatile. Sometimes you just want to shake them and tell them, don't you see what's happening? Exactly. Like everybody's living a lie right now. Everybody's living a lie. People are told that inflation's like 3%, 4%, 6%. They don't use their own fucking eyes to see what's actually happening here. I heard somebody say that the price of steak has gone up like 200 times or 200% in the last couple of years since 2023. And all of that is caused by them printing more money. And you know what? The money printer is not slowing down. It like Scotty said before, it hasn't even started yet. And you combine that with the rates having to only come down from here. They cannot raise rates anymore. It's only coming down. And do you think more or less companies are going to be buying Bitcoin within the next 12 months, more or less? Do you think more or less states are going to start adding Bitcoin to their reserve? More or less. Like this stuff it's not hard. It's not really that hard to figure out. And again, if anybody out there is trying to wait it out and wait for, oh shit, Zapstream died. Whoops. I meant to fund that this morning. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Oh yeah, let's keep her going here. Hey, Lauren. Good morning, Lauren. Good to see you. Lauren with the new profile pic, PFP. Everybody's going crazy over that in Jerry's chat last night. Lauren's new profile pic. Oh, we got a zap here from, looks like Todd. Says, how do I find the infamous zap stream over here on Nostr? I'm going to try to top this up here on the fly. We'll see if we can get it back. I doubt it, but we're going to try. How do I find the infamous zap stream over here on Nostr? Todd, what Nostr app are you on? which Nostr app are you using right now? And what kind of phone are you on, Apple or Android? Sorry, I know this looks horrible from a viewer's perspective, but I'm trying to get back our Zap stream here. Oh, come on. We might be able to get it back. Probably not, but we're going to try. Go to dashboard. All right, balance. Top up. So we got to pay about, I don't know, 500 sats for every stream that we do over on Zapstream, which is fair. It's fair because somebody's got to, and when I say somebody, I mean Kieran, has to pay for the servers to run things. Shouldn't be free. Nothing in life should be free. But sometimes we run out of sats. Okay, so that's been topped up. Let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens. All right, we got 40 people over in Rumble. Nice to see. 21 likes. One rant for today from our guy Morrow. Let's get these numbers up. Let's bump them. Let's bump them. We're in a feisty mood today. Old School says, yet some people who would benefit from Bitcoin are hostile towards it. You want to help these people, but they won't listen. Yeah, don't waste your time. Do not waste your time. Only the letters and coffee, though. Parker says, sweet discount on sats right now. Yes, sir. Out comes the baseball bat. Sir Haxalot says, Joe, have you seen Clark Moody's dashboard? Very cool. Sharing is caring. Yeah, it's a great resource for finding things about the Bitcoin network. We can check that out. Clark Moody dashboard. Lots of good information on here. It's kind of like an equivalent of mempool.space, just less visual, but lots of really good information here. Okay, so there's a couple cool metrics here that we can look at. That's probably why Sir Haxalot brought this up. There's a lot of cool things you can see on here. We could do a whole show on this probably. Maybe we should. Maybe we should. This is what it looks like, though, for those who have never been to Clark Moody's dashboard before. All right, let's see if we're back on Zapstream. Are we? Are we? No, shit, didn't work. Let's try remove, save, and let's try adding this. Save. See if that works. It might start a new a new stream. We'll see. Okay, what do we got here? Marco says, you mean we are at 115 and not 250K because of institutions buying over the counter? After that, we rocket? Yeah, I mean, that's part of it for sure, is when all these large buyers are buying their Bitcoin, they're not buying it on exchanges. Hey, we're back on Zapstream. We're back. Look at that. I fixed it. Try it again. We are live again. Take two. We are live again. Take two. There we go. All right. Zapstream's back. So yeah, let me see. What was the question there from Todd? Todd, what are you watching? What Nostr client do you use? What Nostr app are you using right now? Domus, Primal, Amethyst, Nostr. Let me know. Million that soon. Hope not. Yeah, that's the mentality to have, Ian, for sure. Okay, this is too small. We don't need that on here. All right, look at this. We got some people showing up here. We got Shani. We got Samantha Nakamoto. Sorry about that. Zapstream, I cut you off. BTC Pleb says bull run could be over. No, I guess BTC Pleb didn't show up for the chart we just showed, or didn't understand what we showed. Nav says buying more MicroStrategy. That's the play. I think that strategy is very, 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 very undervalued right now. And whenever people are getting like frustrated and impatient, that's usually when you want to be buying, which is right now. Buck52 says, I'm getting ready for the bottom of the stock market to follow. People will come running to Bitcoin. So yeah, my mind's kind of changed on that as well. I think the stock market's going to keep going up. I think what we're going to see here over the next couple of years is going to be people think, I mean, this is what's been happening for a long time now, but people are just going to think that they're getting richer and richer because their stock balance is going up, when really they're getting poorer and poorer. And I don't think anything's going to change. Like, I don't think the stock market's ever going to crash. I don't. There's too many forced buyers. There's too many pension funds and our Roth IRAs and all this kind of stuff that are literally propping this up. And I think it's going to keep going up. Why? Because they're printing more money. And that's the difference between the stock market and Bitcoin, is that the stock market will keep going up in fiat terms, but that's it. It's not going to go up in gold terms. It's not going to go up in Bitcoin terms. It's going to keep going up in fiat, but people who aren't paying attention right now, they don't understand what's happening. They're going to have the illusion that they're getting richer and richer and richer, but really they're actually going in reverse because they're pricing things in fiat. To get past that, I think in your mind is such a big hurdle. Truly. Money printing is what's doing it. Stock market is crashing in terms of Bitcoin. Exactly. That's my whole point here, is that the stock market isn't going to crash in fiat terms. It's going to keep going up and up and up. And all these useless companies providing useless products and services will continue to be part of the illusion. And people are going to continue to be distracted, continue to be lied to. And only the people who understand, whether that's gold or Bitcoin, it's losing to real assets. It's losing in real terms. But as long as people continue living in their fantasy illusionary land, they're going to think that they're getting richer. Their house prices is going up in fiat terms. They're getting richer. But they don't understand it's going down in real terms against gold and Bitcoin. Look at this. We got a fat zap here from Shani. We should crown our king from yesterday. Let's crown the king. So what did we get today? We got, by the way, I'm going to give you guys and girls a little bit of a secret here right now. Just a little wee secret. What I'm doing right now is I'm slowly transitioning from Patreon to school. And we're going to continue with Patreon. We're still going to have the Living in the Future chat, all that kind of stuff, the Signal chat. All the videos are going to be in there, but I'm slowly setting up camp on school. It's going to be like, it's just going to be all my stuff. All my stuff. That's where you're going to be able to access. You're going to get the 365 course. You're going to get the 21 Days of Bitcoin course. You're going to get the generational wealth course, the proof of work, the courses that I'm working on right now. You're going to get all that. It's going to be in the school page. Plus, there's going to be a community there where you can actually leave comments, interact with each other. It's going to be the same as Maple Bitcoin, except just my stuff. So I'm making that transition right now. And I'm actually going to be taking all my videos off of YouTube. I know. It's going to be a process. But I'm taking all my videos off of YouTube, and I'm going to put them all onto school. Not all of them, but all the lives. All the lives are going to be exclusively on school. So if you're whether or not you're a current subscriber or a current member of Living in the Future, if you want to be kind of like the foundational level of the new school page, depending on what your access is right now, I'm either going to give you a free membership to it or I'm going to give you a price in sats. So that's going to be like the next thing I'm working on here is going to be the school page, and it's going to have all my stuff. So if you are somebody like who's somewhat new to Bitcoin, The 21-day course is kind of like 365 jammed into 21 days. The 365, you can kind of scroll through there and see what topics you need more information on, maybe what you're missing. It's going to be the perfect place for somebody who's somewhat newer to Bitcoin. And if you're been around for a while, you might still pick some things up, but you're also going to be able to talk to other Bitcoiners about different topics and ideas and thoughts and collaborate with each other. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. So what I would say is if you are somebody who's been enjoying this channel and you want to support and be part of the new community, shoot me an email. And like I said, if you're already living in the future member, I'll just give you free access to it. I just have to send you an email. If you're not a member of Living the Future yet, I'll charge you an amount in sats, be very reasonable. But I want to get kind of the foundation built there while we're still putting things in place. And then once we go live, we'll open it up for everybody. It'll be the same price for everybody. But in the meantime, I'm just going to be kind of collecting some emails to send invites to. We're going to get stuff posted in there, and you're going to get access to the 365 and the 21-day course. So it's not quite there yet, but if you do want to, I'm going to set up kind of a list for people who want to join it. So you can just shoot me an email, jor@bitcoincitadel.net, and put new school in the subject line. And I'll keep your email, and then whenever I get things officially set up, then you'll be invited to it, and you'll get all the content that is no longer available on YouTube or never was available on YouTube. So August 19th today. Wow. How did that happen? Okay, so we got two here. We got two DCAs. 3 DCAs. No, 2 DCAs. We got Scotty sent in 26.15. And Duncan just came through for 26.35, which means that the price is dropping because we went from 26.15 to 26.35. So the price of Bitcoin is dropping right now. That's our price metric. So thank you, Scotty. Thank you, Duncan. And the Zap King from yesterday was Todd. Again, Todd. So currently Todd has, I guess I don't need that, 13. Oh, what the hell? 13534, and that was Todd, our guy Todd. So this month we got Letha has 3 crowns. Letha the icon. Todd has 2. And then we got a couple other folks here: Cedar Sats, Joshua, Conrad, Solar Satoshis, Sats and Sunsets, and a miscellaneous Satoshi Zap coming in for the Zap crown. And we only got what, about 8 episodes left this month. So we'll see how she shakes out. Currently, the highest Zap of today would be what? I think Todd again. 3737. That's the highest Zap today so far. Unless I missed some. Doesn't look like it. So Todd might take the lead today, tie for the lead today with Letha. We'll see. Okay. What's going on here now? What did I miss here? I'm way back. Wow. Where the hell am I? People won't be fighting each other for a Bitcoin or a million sats. They'll be fighting over sats. 100%. 100%. Praetorian says, Joy, I agree. People are looking at Bitcoin like they do a stock. You are bringing me to believe the 1 million PP. 1 million is going to be the starting point. See, that's the thing that you have to, this might be another realization or another way to word it. But like, even if nobody else bought Bitcoin, even if there was no new people that got into Bitcoin, there was no new companies that are buying Bitcoin, small businesses, private companies, public companies, states, municipalities, countries, even if nobody else decide that they want to buy Bitcoin, nobody, the price would still go up. The price would still eventually get to $1 million Bitcoin. Why? Because we're pricing it in fiat terms. And as they print more money, the value of everything goes up, including Bitcoin. So even if nobody decided that they wanted to join this network ever again, and everybody who has Bitcoin today, we're the only ones who used it, the price of Bitcoin in fiat terms would still go to $1 million because they're printing so much money. That's the whole point of what I'm trying to say here. Demand for gold also increased. True. Bitcoin Kitty says, I completely deleted my Coinbase account. It's the first exchange I use. I mean, I'm glad you said that, because that's what I would actually recommend that people do. Not only stop using it, but delete your account. You know why? Let me explain this. Man, this is a feisty show today. I'm kind of going off a little bit. I don't usually get this wound up about things, but it's annoying. It's annoying to me. But here's the thing about this exchange we're talking about here. They have a lot of distractions, right? In the last year or whatever it was, they went public. They have a lot of requirements to meet. They have a lot of distractions. They also have a lot of coins. They have a lot of tokens, a lot of shit coins that people can buy and sell on Coinbase. They have a new layer called Base, the base layer that they're going to be using for stable coins or some shit. I don't even know. They're very distracted. And when you have a honeypot like Coinbase and they're distracted with other things, that's a serious problem. And we might not ever see Coinbase getting hacked or losing all their Bitcoin, or, people showing up and not being able to withdraw their Bitcoin. I do think that's coming, but it might not. The point that people really need to be concerned about with an exchange like this is their information. Because while they're doing all these things, while they're creating these new base layers and shit coins and going public and all these different things, they're distracted. And as technology and AI improves, it's going to become easier and easier to hack and social engineer and get information out of companies like Coinbase, which we saw happen, where Coinbase employees were literally social engineered to give away information about their customers. And so when you have a company like Coinbase, who you put all their trust in storing your data privately, your address, your social insurance number, the amount of Bitcoin that you hold, all of that information is probably being leaked around the internet right now. And so even if you don't actually lose your Bitcoin, even if you're able to withdraw it from this exchange we're talking about, I would say that there's a large certainty that your information has already been shared, or it's going to be shared with very bad people. So that's the problem with being distracted. It's not that it's taking anything away from Bitcoin. It's putting their focus and time and bandwidth into worrying about the wrong things. They should be 100% focused on making sure that they have the equivalent Bitcoin to their deposits and keeping their customer information safe. That should be their only priority, but they're fucking around. And so I would say that you should not only stop using that website, that's exchange, but you should delete it and consider, anytime you sign up for a new exchange or buy a product, consider what information you're giving them. So I just shared the link to River there. River doesn't pay me, but I think that they're the best exchange to be using it if you're in the US. And the nice thing about River is you can actually hold some Bitcoin with them. I love Bitcoin well, but they're a little bit more advanced because you have to send it. You have to have a wallet first. But if you're somebody who's newer to Bitcoin, I would strongly suggest using River and just letting them hold your Bitcoin for a little while. I was listening to Tour Demeester on an interview. One of my favorite Bitcoiners. I would probably put him in top 5, maybe even top 3. But he said something last night that I've never heard a Bitcoin OG say before, which is in line with what I've been talking about. He basically said, if you're somebody who's new to Bitcoin, don't feel like you need to jump into security. Just leave it on an exchange for a little while. Leave it on an exchange like River, where they actually show proof of reserves. And then once you have your shit together a little bit, once you increase your knowledge, you have an idea what you're doing, then you can move it off the exchange. But all I've heard from like Bitcoiners on YouTube and things like that is like, not your keys, not your coins, which is true. Like that's the long-term goal here. But in the meantime, you can use a company like River and just let them hold your Bitcoin for a little while. So it was really refreshing to hear that from somebody that I very much respect in Bitcoin, Tour. Patiently waiting for October. Yeah, I don't know if I'm waiting for it or concerned about it. Look at this. We got Shani. Says, are we still on track for the Living in the Future community to do a tropical meetup somewhere next year? Yes. So I haven't mentioned that because it's not really, I don't really want it to be public information. Too late, I guess. But yeah, we got something in the works for Living in the Future community. Eros says, I'm in the US, only use Strike now and have not had any issues with them. Yeah, Strike's good. If I was in the US, I would be using River, even though I like Jack Mahler's. Also, did you guys see Bo Hines is now working with Tether? Wow. How about that? How about that? I bought some CEP or 21 Capital after I heard that news. I just like what they're doing. I like the team that they're forming at 21 Capital. It seems more sustainable. Could be wrong. Could be a bad bet. But that's my thoughts on it. Boomers are getting back into gold, not Bitcoin. Yeah, maybe. But boomers eventually will pass that wealth down to their kids, and their kids are going to be buying Bitcoin. They're going to take all their shit that the boomers have, and they're going to throw it all into Bitcoin. Because why wouldn't they? Don Troll says, I'm in Switzerland and I just keep with 6 months of fiat expenses in a bank, but all the rest goes right into Bitcoin every month, and I put as much as I can. That is the move. I do it. Ian says, I do admit I get excited when I see a dip like it's doing right now, but I already bought 45 minutes ago. Yeah, I feel you. Down to 113. Sean says, is there a GoFundMe type platform that works with Bitcoin? Yes. What's it called? I think it's called Geyser.fund. Geyser.fund. Let me find it here. It's like a Kickstarter. Geyser.fund. Right here. So where grassroots Bitcoin projects come to life. Geyser rallies the Bitcoin community to fund ideas, products, and causes that drive real-world adoption from the ground up. I should probably do something on here. Hey, look at this, Bitcoin Valley. I'm pretty sure this is in, wow, they've raised almost 1 million sats. That's wild. I'm pretty sure Forrest is part of this project. Yeah, there he is right there. There he is, the man. Forrest on the left there. I thought so. Wow, that's pretty impressive. So yeah, this is a great website here, geyser.fund. It's even a featured one. I don't know how you become a featured one. Maybe you have to pay. Yep. Smart though. Smart move. So there you go, Sean. VHS says, don't tell me what to do, Jory. You're not my dad. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you to think about this a little bit differently. And if nobody cared, they wouldn't even bother with it, VHF. So don't take it the wrong way. I'm just really trying to help people see the reality here and not the lie that we're being fed. Santino, good morning. Good morning, my friend. Sketchucation says, hi, I'll drop a like for George's channel if you value his time and solid advice. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. Very nice. Yes, don't forget to like, don't forget to love, and don't forget to zap. Bitcoin terms, we're living through another Great Depression, but no one can see it because of the printer. Yep. That's the point I'm trying to make here. What in the world? No more YouTube vids? I know, right? I know. I'm going to keep streaming on YouTube though. I got a plan. Actually, I should throw that up here right now too. No, I'm not ready for it yet. But we're going to change the show here a little bit. It's going to be a different format of show. And I'm going to keep doing these lives. They're going to be a little bit longer. Like my plan is to do like a hour and a half, 2 hours, even 3 hours once a week on the school page. So that's going to be another benefit to joining the school community that I'm going to have, is that we're the only live streams that we do like this are going to be on there. It just, there's a lot of reasons for it for me. Biggest one though is just, I don't know. I don't really need, like, I've done 369 episodes here, and I've probably said some stupid things. I've probably shown some stupid things. I probably doxed myself in ways that I shouldn't. And so I just don't want that information to be available forever. And so I'm going to take it off Bitcoin, but I'm going to put it into the community. It's going to be about the same price, like the school community. It's going to be the same price as Living in the Future. So it won't be like an increase or a change for anybody. I just feel like school, you can interact a lot more on there. There's more discussion, more threads. It's easier to navigate like the courses and stuff like that. So, and you can pay in Bitcoin too. That's a cool thing. You can't pay in Bitcoin for Patreon. So that's going to have all the courses. It's going to have all the videos from YouTube, the live streams. It's going to be exclusively on there. Plus I'm going to do like a 2 or 3 hour live stream every week like this, but it's going to be only for members. There's just more signal that way, less noise, less bullshit. And when you get to a certain point in Bitcoin, you don't want to have very much noise. You want signal. You want people that you can learn from, people you can grow with, collaborate with, build things with. And that's what I want. That's what I see as like the next iteration of this. Duncan says, better late than never. I got the DCA here, Duncan. Thank you, my friend. And somebody also sent in 2323. Was that Todd? It says iOS Prime. Oh, yeah. Okay, it was Todd. iOS Primal NN. So Todd, Primal actually doesn't have Zapstream yet. I think they're in the process of coming up with the streaming thing on Primal, but they don't have it yet. So you can either download this Zap.stream app. I don't know if it's available for iPhones though. And or you can just go to Zap.stream. You can go to sats.gg, sats.gg, and that's how you can find the Zapstream. Oh, Shani said, sorry, but he didn't mean to make it public. No, that's good. That's what we want. That's what Zapstream's for, man. You get the social nod there. So Shani sent in 2121 over on Zapstream. Thank you, Shani. My man. VHS says the code also ensures the price has to go up because it has to be profitable for the miners. Yeah, I mean, the incentives or the design of it. The design of it is, but I mean, it doesn't have to go up. If everybody stopped using Bitcoin, the price would go down, regardless of what the miners want. But it is designed in a way where it's supposed to go up over time to make it worth it for the miner. Yes, you're right. So we have the double factor of appreciation. I would say the triple factor. You're missing one here. You're missing a very big point of this VHF. One is the fiat printing. Yes. 2 is the code and the halving of mining rewards. Yes. But 3 is it's a problem. It solves a problem, a really big problem for 8 billion people. It solves a problem for 8 billion people. Name an idea in history before which is solved other than like fire, electricity, maybe the internet. But name an idea that solved a problem for 8 billion people before. Ian says, great show today. Yeah, I was a little bit, I was pretty wound up today. I'm not usually this wound up. I don't even know what triggered it either. Duncan says, when BlackRock, Sailor, and governments are happy with their bags, they will run the price up so much they will have to buy. Oh, sorry. you will then have the Bitcoiners and non-Bitcoiners. But still, I mean, even if the price runs up to $500 million per Bitcoin, people are still going to want to store their time and energy in Bitcoin. That's a fact because it's the best store of value. It's the best battery in human history. Okay, let me find something here. I wanted to share one thing from the Noster today. We got a couple people wanting to join the new school. Nice. I'm guessing some of them are already living the future members, but that's okay. So yeah, what I was just talking about, there's the new school community that's forming around 88 sats. Don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but I do know it's going to be fucking awesome. So that's where you're going to get all the courses, 365, 21 days, generational wealth, proof of work, more coming than I'm making right now, and the community there, plus the live stream. The only live stream that's going to be happening is going to be on school. So shoot me an email, put new school in the subject, and I'll add you to the list of first people to join once that's all set up, which is going to be soon. Okay, let's send this. Sent. So Jor at bitcoincitadel.net, or find a way to get a hold of me. Some people, you have me on Signal. But yeah, that's the easiest there. Jor at bitcoincitadel.net. Okay, where is this here? Oh, this is cool. So, I mean, we spent the whole show talking about like the demand for Bitcoin and the people who want to hold Bitcoin, why they want to. The fact that it solves the biggest problem that humanity faces right now is not having a reliable store of value. Anything you store your time and energy in right now, it has leaks. Bitcoin does not have leaks. So that's one part of it. But we're also going to see more and more stuff like this where it actually solves a real problem. So I thought this was really cool. And I know some people who were actually at this conference. Forrest was there, a couple other members from the Maple Bitcoin School community. Last chance there, shoot me an email. Today, I'll get you on the list for the new school community. Just put in new school in the subject line. But Forrest was there. And the mayor of Vancouver was there. And this is one of the things that came out of the conference was this idea about Bitcoin mining. So let's take a look at this. This is from our least favorite people, the mainstream media, global news, but they're talking about Bitcoin mining here.
To heat Kitsilano pool using Bitcoin mining was discussed at a conference in Vancouver today, an event Mayor Ken Sim also attended and spoke at. This afternoon's panel was part of the Learning Bitcoin conference this weekend at the Vancouver Convention Centre. The participants discussed how Bitcoin miners are essentially computers and the heat generated from them could be used to heat Kit's pool for use all year round, adding it could even make the city money.
Mining for Bitcoin would not only pay for the energy used to heat the pool, but there would be extra Bitcoin that could be then additionally sold to pay for services, to pay for lifeguards, to pay for more operational hours, to pay for swimming lessons. In fact, it would be the case that the Bitcoin mining facility at Kit's Pool would probably make the city maybe $1 million a year in profit.
Vancouver Mayor.
All right, think about that. Think about that again. Think about that. Not only does it allow for this pool in Vancouver to be open all year round because it now heats the water efficiently, but it also has a profit. It also has $1 million. This is estimated, of course, from one pool in one city, $1 million profit from the excess Bitcoin that's mined through this process. But think about that. As more and more cities start implementing Bitcoin mining into their infrastructure, and they're all saving millions of dollars here and millions of dollars there and millions over here, what happens from there? When cities are able to be profitable, what happens there? Taxes come down, property taxes come down, income taxes, state taxes, municipal taxes, property taxes come down. Or, I mean, they send it overseas to Ukraine for a bullshit war. But eventually, it gets turned into subsidies. Eventually property tax starts coming down. Because when you can actually find things that make your city or municipality or province or state money, then the citizens actually have to pay less. And that's what we're going to see here play out in the next couple decades is like, we're going to stop taxing humans. Number one, because a lot of them are going to be replaced by AI or robots eventually, not soon, but eventually. And robots don't pay taxes. So they're going to stop taking money from citizens, taxpayers, and they're actually going to subsidize what they need to pay for with natural resources like Bitcoin mining, natural resources instead of human resources. That's the world we're moving into there. So let's listen to that again. It's going to make the city $1 million. And when cities make money, they can actually build more things or they can reduce taxes. They'll probably spend it because they're dipshits, but that's not the point.
Swimming lessons.
Long term.
It would be the case that the Bitcoin mining facility at Kitts Pool would probably make the city maybe $1 million a year in profit.
Vancouver Mayor Ken Sim is a fan of the idea. He was in the audience and spoke later in the day about his push to integrate Bitcoin into the city of Vancouver's finances. A motion passed by council last year directed staff to explore how the city could accept taxes and fees in the cryptocurrency and even convert some of the city's reserves into it. That report is due back sometime in the fall. And
Another use case for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's pretty cool because it actually takes natural resources, whether that's from like hydro, wind, solar, natural gas, nuclear. It takes that energy and it converts it directly into money. Not just money, like the best money that has ever existed in human history before, because it's very liquid. It's globally accepted, globally recognized. Like there's just so much happening right now. It's impossible to really put into words. And that's why I think that $1 million would kind of be a joke. Bitcoin today is worth well more than $1 million. I'd say anytime you can get Bitcoin below $10 million based on everything we know today, that's a deal. So the fact that it's 115,000 or 113,000, whatever it is a joke. It's a joke. It's just a disconnect between people understanding what's happening here. And you know this. You've felt this in your own life. When you try to talk to people about Bitcoin, they have no idea. So what's going to make this demand go up even more is when the people actually do have an idea of what's happening here. And that's coming. It's just a matter of time. Toshimoto. Good morning. It's a cool little profile pic. I like it. Well, look at this. We got another zap from Ian. Okay, so we got to figure out who's who in the zoo here. We got 2,500 sats from Ian times 2, so 5,000. But Todd has been what? 37 plus 23. So Todd still has it by a little bit. Ian's got 5,000, Todd's 6,060 sats. So thank you, Ian. Big shout out to Ian. And somebody also sent in some zaps over on the Nostr chat. Samantha, again. The Live Free zap, the Samantha zap, 1,111 sats. Thank you, Samantha. Thank you, Ian. Bad Gal B says, since seeing our government lock people out of their bank accounts, only keep bills in there. Everything else in Bitcoin. Yeah, I've kind of spent the whole episode talking about why if you're holding fiat right now instead of Bitcoin in large amounts, it's silly. But even if you're holding like $1,000 worth of fiat right now instead of Bitcoin, that's silly. Because you just don't understand. That's not even like the fact that someone's going to lock you out of your bank account. It's just because it's being debased so quickly. Primal on iPad at the moment. Yeah, you'll have to use sats.gg or zap.stream. Or Todd, you could also use something called Nostr. I believe that's for iOS. Download an app called Nostr, and you can actually watch Zapstream directly from that Nostr app. You're not my dad, yeah. 3 is scarcity, 4 solves the problem of fiat devaluation. Yep. Only nature provides abundance, and Bitcoin, so it seems. Truth. Brings new meaning to mining pool. Yeah, no doubt. Scotty says we heat a pool here with heat from an in-ground garbage dump. Yuck. Is that yuck? Heat from an in-ground garbage dump. Huh. So obviously they would be burning it underground, burning the garbage, and then probably the heat would flow through, but I feel like that'd be stinky. Obviously it would have to go through some sort of filtration system there. Cool though. Scotty in Japan. Ian says there's the word of the day, dipshit. That'll make you feel better, Jor. That's right. That made me feel better instantly. Instantly. All right, so look at this. We got a decent, this is probably our best showing on Rumble ever. Best ratio yet. We got 35 people over there. 25 people have liked it. And City Pool, nice. What are we at here? Oh, we're almost at 2 hours. All right, we got to wrap things up here. I want to show you a couple more things here before we go. Just an FYI here. So I want to give you a little bit more information right now. I'm spilling too many beans here, I think, today, but that's okay. I like you guys and girls. If this loads, are we going to load? It's trying to load. It won't load. Right on. Are we still connected to the internet? It looks like it. Why is this not loading? Okay, well, I'm not going to waste any more of your time there, but I was going to show you a little post about information fasting. Because here's the thing. Here's what I want to tell you right now. This new school community is not just going to be about Bitcoin. It's going to be much more than that. It's going to be a good comment. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to call it yet, but it's going to be much more than just Bitcoin. The theme, the underlying theme is going to be Bitcoin. Just like the proof of work course that we did there that one time, where we talked about a bunch of different things. We came up with some ideas. The idea there is to get a little bit better every day, but we're going to look at it through a Bitcoin lens. And that's going to be what this community is about. The new school community is going to be about that. So we're going to talk about different things. And I was going to show you something here, but we'll save it for another day once it loads. But let's look at this. This is pretty big news, I think. So this is from Bitcoin News. It says Norges Bank. Don't know how to say that. Norway's central bank increases its Bitcoin equivalent exposure from 6,200 Bitcoin to 11,400 Bitcoin in Q2, an 83% jump. So, I mean, just think about this logically, right? I know I'm kind of rocking here like an old guy or a girl in a rocking chair, but like, just think about this logically. All this demand, we just saw this Norway central bank, they increased their equivalent exposure. Obviously, they can't hold Bitcoin, but their exposure entirely through strategy, they increased from 6,200 to 11,400 Bitcoin in Q2, 83% jump. And they're not alone. Like, there's a lot of companies on Earth right now who are going through this exact same thing. Strategy, BlackRock, all the ETFs, all the public companies, all the private companies, all the small businesses, people, Bitcoiners, they're all going through the same kind of thing right now where they're buying as much Bitcoin as they possibly can. But Bitcoin's price hasn't moved based on the demand yet. Hasn't moved. The only reason why it's gone up is because they printed more money. As we can see from our chart there, which shows that Bitcoin is exactly where it was in 2021 in real terms, in gold terms. So at some point here, the demand for Bitcoin is going to catch up. And that's when we're going to see a huge spike. But that's pretty wild. Norway's central bank has the equivalent of 11,400 Bitcoin based on strategy and Metaplanet holdings. the equivalent amount of shares to sats, essentially. And for some reason, the world's still ignoring this asset. And it's sad. It really is. It's sad. And the whole point of the show is to get more average people involved in Bitcoin, help grow the conviction of average people in Bitcoin, because the central banks, the royal banks, they're all buying Bitcoin. Royal Bank of Canada increased its strategy stake by nearly 16% in quarter two, per their SEC filings. Royal Bank of Canada. So they don't want their customers buying Bitcoin. They don't talk about Bitcoin, but they're buying it themselves, because why else would they own Strategy? Do you think that they like Strategy's software line, their software department? Or do you think they're buying it to get exposure to Bitcoin? Greasy. The Royal Bank of Canada is fucking greasy. Greasy. So how many shares do they own here? Are those all shares? 51 million shares. That's insane. I wish we knew how much they actually have. So that's greasy. That's the banks at work. That's the old system at work. They're not telling anybody until they release their SEC filings, because they're legally required to, but they're not telling their customers and their clients, and they're not even letting their clients buy Bitcoin. I'm pretty sure there's been a lot of customers with Royal Bank who have had their accounts frozen because they're trying to buy Bitcoin. But yet, behind the scenes, they're doing shit like this. Sickening. Sickening. Okay, I see a chat here from Ian. Another bump in sats. Okay. So Ian with another 2,500 sats. Ian must have liked the show today. Thank you, Ian. So Ian is our new Zap King of the day so far today. So Todd was 60-60 and Ian is 75 hundo. Thank you, Ian. Very, 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 very much appreciate that. And that was CYM. Duncan says, no Starlink yet. No, not yet. Working on it, my friend. I'm working on it. I was actually on their website the other day looking at prices and options and stuff like that. I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to wrap things up. But before we do, I want to give away some Bitcoin, because it's been a good show today. I don't really measure the Zaps day to day, but I appreciate every single one of them. But I do want to give some back today, because it's Tuesday. Everybody needs a little bit of a boost. Maybe we'll do a couple spins today. Not spins, tosses into the wishing well. So while I'm talking here for the next 10 seconds, get your Lightning wallets opened up, start your engines, and get ready to get some free sats. A couple weeks ago, or a month ago maybe now, somebody won, what was it, 210,000 sats? 210,000 sats, I think somebody won from Bitcoin Well. So we're going to give her a shot right now. We're going to toss a coin into the well, a couple coins. And one lucky person, maybe two lucky people, are going to win some sats this morning, courtesy of our friends at the Bitcoin Well. Okay, so let's toss here. Are we ready? Play, redeem. I guess I should bring this up on screen first. Here we go, folks. Here we go. The first person. So if you got your Lightning wallet opened up right now, you press send, and it should bring you a screen like that, like a scanning screen. And you want to scan this QR code here. And the first person who scans it is going to win the sats. That's how she works. So are we ready? Are we set? Let's go. We're going to show the QR code, and then we're going to see how much they won. There she is. So the first person to scan that is going to win the sats. And you can tell the chat if you won or not. It's completely up to you. We respect your privacy. So this is courtesy of our friends at Bitcoin Well. This is kind of what I've been advising people as of late. If you're in Canada, you should be using Bitcoin Well. They're the best by far. Bitcoin Well or Bull Bitcoin would be up there as well. I like Bull Bitcoin. I like what they stand for. But I feel like Bitcoin Well is much easier to navigate. It's a little bit more interactive and fun. And they got some cool things that Bull Bitcoin does not offer. But Bull Bitcoin's a great option as well. If you're in the US, I would say River number 1, Bitcoin Well number 2. Depending on what you need it for, if you're somebody who can hold your own keys, you could use Bitcoin Well. But if you're somebody who wants to hold a bit of fiat on River or store your Bitcoin there, I would use River. And if you're just joining us, go back and listen to our conversation about another exchange. What'd they win? 612 sats. So at some point in the future, people will be working for a week and then a month and then a year for 612 sats. And somebody just won that from Bitcoin Well for scanning a QR code. Pretty crazy, isn't it? Okay, so these tosses are courtesy of our friends at the Bitcoin Well. And if you sign up using that link there, bitcoinwell.com/Jor, whether you're in Canada or the US, you get 5 free tosses, 5 free chances. So let's do another one here. Ready, set, go. So the first one was 612 sats. The second one's going to be what? Any guesses? I can't really see. It looks like a 7. Looks like it might be a 7. Might be a big one. So let's see. I didn't even check to see if somebody scanned that last time. Been claimed. Wow, you guys and girls are fast. All right, what did we win there? Oh, 531. I was looking at this. I thought this was a 7. 531 sats. So those are courtesy of our friends at Bitcoin Well. I'm going to put both those links in the show notes right now or in the chat. I'm going to leave them in the show notes after. And there you have it. So this is for River. If you're in the US, I recommend River or Bitcoin Well. And if you're in Canada, definitely be using Bitcoin Well. So I'm going to go. I got to hit the road here. I'm going to film some videos today. I'm going to keep working on the new school community. Once again, if you do want to join, if you're a member of Living in the Future, we'll chat. It's going to be kind of dependent on what you've contributed so far. It's going to be a subjective entry fee, especially for the first part. Eventually, once it's live, once it's fully launched, it'll be the same for everybody. But up until that point, it's going to be kind of subjective based on some will be free. Some you can pay in sats, but if you do want to be one of our first founding members of the new school community, I'm not going to tell you the name yet, but it's good. It's going to have a lot of good stuff going on there. So just shoot me an email, jor@bitcoincitadel.net, and put new school in the title. And I'll add your email to the list, and we'll start negotiating. Again, that's the cool thing about schools. You can actually pay in sats instead of having to put your credit card information in there. So that's what I got for you today, folks. Thank you once again for being here. Big shout out to Ian today, who is the Zap King so far with 7,500 sats. Big shout out to Samantha for a couple zaps, Shani, Duncan and Scotty for their DCAs, Morrow for the first rant of the day, the only rant of the day today. And big shout out to everybody on Nostr and Rumble. Appreciate you a lot for taking the hard path. But I still love the people on YouTube. We're just trying to decentralize ourselves a little bit here. So I think that's it. And again, a big shout out to Bill for the constant support for the channel. I think that's it. Did I miss anybody? I hate doing this because I always miss somebody. But $1.52 as well. And 369 Sats and Sunsets. And Matt. So thanks, everybody. Very much appreciate you all once again. And we'll be back here first thing tomorrow morning. Same time, same place. Have the best Tuesday of your life today. We're going to do that around here because we have the option to. So enjoy yourself. What's our saying here? Be the guy, protect the sats, enjoy the ride. Talk to you right back here tomorrow for Hump Day.